everyone. Welcome back to the Pretty Playbook. As you know, I'm Pretty Girl Des and the owner, founder, creator, face of Pretty Girls Love Sports. And on this podcast, we love to talk about the winning at the game of life, going through all things life from different aspects. We also talk about a little bit of sports and get some fun questions. I'm super excited about my special guest today. We've been trying to get each other for a while, so we finally got each other. So it's going to be super duper, super fantastic. I already know. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, as I always do, and then we're going to hop into this fun interview. Without further ado, Ms. Renae, take the field.
Yes, but hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Des, for the invitation to the Pretty Playbook Podcast. I am Renae Myles Payne. I am the Chief Administrative Officer for ABIS, which is the Advancement of Blacks in Sports. Most recently, from that, I was the athletic director at Fort Valley State University and have been in college sports and college athletics administration for about 26 years.
Wow, so much to dive into there. Let's start. Let's start by, did you go to Fort Valley State?
Okay, so I did not. I'm actually not even a HBCU grad.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
I have worked at 3 HBCUs.
Wow, so you're from an HBCU.
So I worked in the MEAC at Delaware State University, and then I worked in the SWAC at Alabama A&M University.
Okay.
And then now Fort Valley, which was in the in the SIAC. So I only have not worked in the CIAA. So that's the only HBCU athletic conference that I have not worked in.
Yeah, the CIAA is so hard. I actually graduated from a school within the CIAA. Well, they weren't there. They're not there anymore. I got kicked out. But we were not an HBCU. So I didn't graduate with my bachelor's degree in or from an HBCU. So I understand.
Yes.
Being the only non-HBCU and an HBCU conference was very much like, I feel like I got the vibes and energy because our school was predominantly Black.
Okay.
So, I mean, I got all the going to the CIAA basketball conference or tournament.
So you was
every
at Shawan?
season.
Where did you go?
Yes, I was at Chowan
Okay,
University. And that I picked there, one, because I was getting the most scholarship money, but also because I wanted to be a cheerleader and I wanted to be a part of the CIAA. Going into that conference, because like my aunt went to Virginia State University. So it was so many different things about the CIAA that I just always had a love for. So I was just like, I definitely want to be there and I have to be there at some point, somehow, some way. So I get it. Like, he's like, okay, I'm not from there, but you're really from there. You're really from an HBCU. Like,
Yep.
once you work there.
Oh, my parents and stuff too. So I'm a family. My brother played football at Mississippi Valley, and cousins at Jackson State. So I have brother graduated from Jackson State. So I'm in. I'm in by blood.
That's all that matters. Okay, so how did you get started working? I'm going to come back to the school that you worked in before, but how did you get started working in sports from the beginning?
Yeah, so I've always been in love with sports. I started running track at an early age, and then was able to go to University of Southern Mississippi on a book scholarship. So track and field, you don't get a lot of money for scholarships, so you just take, you get what you can. And so went to Southern Mississippi and ran track there, and I almost was ineligible my second semester in school. And just, let's be real, I just didn't go to class. I was having fun. I was enjoying. I lived my best life.
Okay.
My freshman year, child. So I had to go to see the academic advisor in athletics to help me kind of get back on track. And I just became really intrigued about what she did. Now, I don't remember the lady's name. I don't, because I only had to go see her like once or twice. After that, I got my stuff together, and I was good. But I always, was intrigued about what they did and understood that there was people that behind us, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, doing something to make our track meets go, to make sure that the weight room was clean when we got there early in the morning for weights. That made sure, and when I was going to school, we had our own separate cafeteria.
Oh,
So
wow.
we could go in and eat, you know what I'm saying, in a certain place. So there were people who were um geared toward making certain that the life of the student athlete was, you know what I'm saying, well-rounded, and they got what they needed. And so I understood that from an early level, and it was like, okay, this might be something that I might be interested in doing. Let me learn more, more about it. And so when I got ready to graduate, I said, well, let me go to try law school and try that route first. And then I took the LSAT, did well, got accepted into Texas Southern School of Thurgood Marshall School of Law, but I was like, I don't want to go to law school, and then just decided to work as an administrative assistant for an athletic director at a junior college in my hometown. I am from Clarksdale, Mississippi. So Coahoma Community College was the first HBCU basically that I even worked at, and got all of this low level experience there. And then, the AD was like, you can be an athletic director. You need to go and get your master's and going on from there. So that's kind of how I got started.
So did you get your master's in specifically
Mhm.
athletic director, or was it like a
Yeah,
business?
sports. So got my master's in sports management.
Okay.
It's called sports administration at the time. When I went into the program, there were only 3 schools in the country. So it gives you an idea of how the sport management program and administration has evolved. There were only 3 schools in the country that offered sports administration as a master's and a major.
Mhm.
Nobody offered it as an undergrad. It was only offered at the master's program.
Okay.
And I went to Northwestern State University, got accepted into there to do my master's there, and and then again had to do an internship um, in sports, and I decided to do it with the wonderful St. Louis Rams at the time. They were,
Wow.
and I was doing cold call season tickets. That was my job. And I had a couple of internships, because that didn't add up to all the hours that I was going to need to finish the degree. And so I finished the internship there early because I did a great job. Because Kurt Warner became the quarterback of the Rams that year. And if you've ever saw the movie, I can't remember the name of the movie. I've seen it, but that year he talked about being the quarterback. I was working with the St. Louis Rams at that time,
Wow.
doing cold call season ticket sales, and we literally sold out season tickets the second game. So I technically didn't have a job, and they were like,
Yeah.
they didn't have anything really else for me to do. So I kind of had to, okay, find another find another,
Let's figure something else out here.
and I did end up going to UConn and and getting and finishing up my hours for my master's program at UConn in marketing. I mean, in events operations and academic advising. So that's kind of my intro in doing several internships. Some were paid, some were not paid. Um, it was great. They have a whole nother way of getting it done these days. But when I was coming through, it was really, really, it was fairly new. So there weren't a lot of people going into this profession, going through a master's program. Either you were a coach and you got to the roles of an administrator. That was pretty much the main way to get there.
Yes, you really had to kind of like make it out of the mud,
Yes.
honestly. That's really
Oh,
what it
yes,
sounds
ma'am.
like.
Yeah.
And that's just that makes it even more special. I mean, it's hearing it from you makes it more special to me because it's like, wow, it's something that a lot of people, I mean, unless they know you and know your story, know your background, would not know and understand the level that you went through to even get to where you are. And it's a lot of hard work.
It is.
Um,
It is.
Yes, like you're saying, like I'm like ticket sales, and it's so funny because someone told me like I've done internships as well, but they're like, if you want to, get in sports, like get into ticket sales. I'm like, I don't even know how I
Oh,
could do it. I can't. I don't. I'm not. Even though like I know majority of being an entrepreneur is sales and finance,
yeah.
and I'm like, I can't. Do you? My other things. Do you want to buy it or not?
Yeah,
Because
that's not everybody's ministry. And so I wasn't, that wasn't my thing either. But I just like, I need to get these internships.
hours.
You know what I'm saying? So let me just do what I can do and what's going to be offered to me. And again, luckily Kurt Warner made it very simple and easy for me. Now I got
Right.
cursed out before the before people like knew who he was, because there's a whole story behind that, so it's really cool. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of just trying some things, because I thought I may go into the professional side, because
Mhm.
going that route I could have probably stayed on the professional side with the Rams, because then I also did I did a part-time. I was interning with the Women's Basketball Coaches Association that was in Atlanta, and then did a part-time job with the Hawks and marketing. So I was the one who would take the mascot around to the different sides of the arena for the little fan experience things. So you could have gone down the path of professional sports, but it looked like it was going to take me a long time to get to the level that I wanted to be at. So, so I took the path down, the college sports side. And and again, it's been great to me. I've enjoyed it, and I'm doing something sport adjacent now, but still I get a chance to have my hands a little bit in pro and college right now.
There's so much to unpack here. Okay, you were okay. I feel like I have to start. Okay, we got to start. We got Los Angeles, the Northwestern. Okay, we love that.
No, so Northwestern Louisiana,
Okay,
not
so
Northwestern Chicago.
you were
So
in Northwestern Louisiana, then you went to St. Louis, and
mhm,
then you went to Yukon. So
mhm.
like that's a long stretch within itself. I feel like you're making the shape of
Yes. Well, look, I went from St. Louis to Atlanta, and then
Okay.
Atlanta to Yukon.
Okay.
And I filed taxes in 3 different states that year.
So you definitely were not afraid to move into trailblaze. And I feel like, and I call it trailblazing because again, you were making it your own and making your own journey from all of these experiences. And I think that's kind of, it's not a motivational for me because like, wow, like you weren't afraid. And people tell me all the time, like, I'm not afraid to leave or to move around. But sometimes I really am. I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, but hearing your story and seeing your level of success, like you weren't afraid. And I just feel like I don't think a lot of people even would have that notion to do that. Like, wow, she went from like again, you made a whole J, like
Yes.
straight up the East Coast. And it's like, wait a minute, like, okay.
Well,
I
I
can't
think
even put it into
you have
words
to
how
go where the opportunity is. And I mean, once I graduated from college, and then I decided I wasn't going to law school. And I'm telling you, it was just that one person, that athletic director. God rest his soul, he passed away last year, but that one athletic director told me, because I was doing all these different things within the department, and that, at the athletic department, and making his life much easier. It took was for him to tell me that I could do it.
Mhm.
And there weren't a lot of women doing or being an athletic director at that time, for sure. I think there were only two, well, minority women, I'll say it that way. There
Right.
might have been some other white women that were doing it, but women of color, there at the time, if I recall, that was 1997. There were only two, and neither one of them had football. Neither one of them were running. They had an institution that had football. So I also didn't have anyone that looked like me in those roles. So it was like, but I knew that I wanted to do it then. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. And so I just needed to try to get to the different spots, different roles, especially when I decided I wasn't going to go down the pro sports path. And I chose to go down the college sport path. Once I made that choice, I was committed to that, you know what I'm saying, to doing it. And then following the opportunities that would come my way.
So after UConn, we got this progression. You were at UConn. How did you blossom into your next opportunity from there?
So I took a chance while I was at UConn, and I went to a conference. So I started researching um, different organizations. And while I was at UConn, the athletic director at the time was one of the who will probably go down as one of the greatest athletic directors ever. His name was Lou Perkins. And if you know UConn's history, UConn basketball they just win.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to be there when both men's and women's basketball won national championships. And so you have each intern has a 30-minute meeting with the athletic director. And he has 3 questions for you. What are your goals? No, why are you here?
Okay, just jump right in.
He
Okay.
does. I mean, he didn't have time. Why are you here? What are your goals? And how can I help you get there? And you just needed to be ready with what to say in those 3, because it basically he got 3 questions. You're gonna spend 10 minutes on each question. He gonna say what he gotta say, you're gonna say what you gotta say, you're gonna move on to the next question. You better be writing fast and doing whatever. But he too said the same thing. And I told him, I said, well, I want to be an athletic director. He just looked at me. He was like, you what? I said, I want to be an athletic director. He said, I think you can do that. And again, that was the second person who told me that I could do it. And so started researching these organizations, and I ended up going to a conference in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'll never forget it. And I was already familiar with the area, so it was like, okay, let me go home. And I met all of these people, and it was great. And then I met one of the past presidents of the organization, because I'm always looking for talent. And the next thing I know, within 3 or 4 months, he was calling me to come take the job at the University of Pittsburgh. So that was my first full-time job. Everything else that I had from the time I got my master's to the time I was at UConn was all, internships to get me to finish my master's degree. Finished my master's degree, and then decided to take the job at the University of Pittsburgh. And I was at Pittsburgh for about 4 years, almost 4 years.
Wow, our favorite city.
Yes.
Our
Yeah.
favorite city. I can imagine, like, this is so exciting. Okay. I wanted to ask so many questions. Oh my gosh. And I know we have so much more to discuss. Like, okay. What, because I want to ask this in the beginning, so that way at the end we can talk about even more motivational things. But what advice would you give someone that is looking to get into this field, or looking to get into sports in general, or any career rather? What is something that you would tell them, something that they could hold on to while they're in their journey?
Love what you're getting ready to do. So you working in sports is a lifestyle. You have to see it as a career from the beginning. So you can't just see it as a job. You must see it as a career, and you must love it, because you're not going to make the same amount of money. You're not that you maybe as your friends or colleagues are making. You're going to work the crazy hours that your friends may be going out and hanging out and like, oh, we're going to do this, and you may not be able to do that because you got to wrap up the you know what I'm saying, the gym from the game, pull up the tarp. You got to do different things that is that. So it's almost like you have to truly love it from the beginning, because if you don't, um, it'll be more crushing to you. It will become a job, and you don't love it. And I just feel like everybody should just work in the space that they really love. I would do what I do if I didn't have bills. I always tell my husband this too. If I didn't have bills to pay, I would do what I do in sports for free.
Mhm.
So you kind of have to, that's the main advice. Love it and create and make it a career and not just a job.
I agree with that because I would do what I do for free. I mean, I kind of do, but
Yeah.
just being in it. Okay, how did you love being in Pittsburgh? How was that experience for you?
Pittsburgh is like a second home for me. Even every time I go back, you know what I'm saying, I feel in I grew and cut my teeth as an adult, a true real adult in Pittsburgh. So I'm from Mississippi originally.
Hmm.
So the whole move to Yukon, and I mean, I was like, what?
That's a difference. I guess
It's like,
a climate difference for one.
yeah, first time I seen a moose or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so things like that, or that type of snow. Never seen that type of snow before. Like I was like, oh my goodness, this is so. So Pittsburgh really helped me, really become an adult. Really found who I was as a employee. What I want, what I loved, what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to navigate, my career. My supervisor, my boss, who was the assistant AD at the time, um, helped me just to understand how I worked. And
Mhm.
so I learned early in my career the type of employee I was. So like I didn't know why I did my best work at 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock, and worked late. I learned things about myself that I didn't know. Like I have my circadian rhythm for my body is built to where I do my best work in the evening.
Me too.
But most people do their best work in the morning, and they just boom, 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 boom. And I just be dragging. Not that I ain't getting no sleep. I
Mhm.
just, and I learned those kinds of things about myself. I learned how to be more tactful. I may I was I was cut, you know what I'm saying, short with people and all that kind of stuff. And I learned how to be more tactful. I learned how to win friends. I learned those things about myself to be more, as they say, cutting away the things that don't make, what they call them, the it's a term for it. But the edges. So I was rounding, that's it, rounding my edges.
I was gonna say trimming the edges, but same thing.
Yeah, trimming the edges, you know what I'm saying? Because you got all these sharp edges on you, and people don't want to be like, okay, she over there. Um, I learned how to round out my edges in that vein, because I had a supervisor who actually saw my talent
Mhm.
first, and then was like, okay, we can fix this other, you know what I'm saying, this other stuff. But if you don't fix this other stuff, you're gonna be
Mhm.
stuck, and you're not gonna be able to grow, and you're not gonna be able to move. And so I was so grateful. His name was Dr. Ron Brown. We still stay in contact. We were just hanging out the other last month in Pittsburgh together. He just really helped me to do that and to become the type of employee and administrator and colleague that I needed to be, to the point that I also finished my doctorate there. So I got my doctorate while I was at University of Pittsburgh. And yeah, and so I
Wow.
grew up at Pittsburgh.
Wow. So I'm sorry. I did not address you appropriately,
Look,
Doctor.
look, I
Dr.
look,
Myles. Excuse me.
I know. So I'm one of those people where I'm really, really, I tell people all this, I said, I really am fine with that. There's some people who are very good. I don't get that way.
I
I'm
understand. I understand, but listen, you were like true. You were like a true motivational person. I feel like, and I believe in my Lord Jesus Christ. I feel like this was set up for a reason, because like I feel like inadvertently, and this is why I love and I'm very selective now moving for, of course, of who I'm bringing on my show, because I wanted to breed motivation. Like if I'm not motivated, then I don't think, you could motivate anybody, but I want to be motivated because I want to feel like that fire and that and I want that to resonate with everybody else who gets to listen to this. And it's so good. So you're saying like during this, like, how amazing that is during this whole process. Of course, you know how amazing it is, but you got a doctorate degree in this whole process. Like,
Yeah, I was taking classes. And so being honest, I'm not that person that's going to be online. I'm not, that's just not
mm.
that ain't my deal. I need to be in front of somebody and to teach. I was doing classes, so I took my time. So the university, of course, paid, for it. You get, as an employee there, you would get 6 credits per year or something, I mean, or a semester for them that they would pay for. And so I began to, he encouraged me. He was like, this is going to put you in a different category. He was like, at the point where you and the president of the university, y'all are on the same, y'all have the same discourse.
Mm-hmm.
The cabinet is, will all be in the same vein if this is the route you want to go down. And so I was like, okay. Now, don't get it twisted. I wasn't interested in getting a doctorate. That was not in the plan. But there were a couple of things. Well, okay, they're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
I can do it and still work full time. I don't well, you can get it done. You can do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do it. And then I was going to get the opportunity to put some writing out there around sports that I really cared about. And so yeah, so I did it. And again, Pittsburgh helped me to become the administrator and the colleague and the employee that I am today.
So leaving Pittsburgh, where was the next job opportunity after that?
After Pittsburgh, I went west to San Jose State University.
And were you the athletic director
I,
there?
I was the academic advisor for football.
Okay.
And after leaving San Jose State, I came to Delaware State. So back to the other side of the coast. And I was the assistant AD for student support services at Delaware State. That was the first time I had the assistant AD role on my belt. And then from Delaware State, I went to Southwest Baptist University, a Division II school in Missouri. Then I left.
That's mid. That's
Yeah,
Midwest.
Midwest. Yeah, Midwest.
Okay.
Um, left left Southwest Baptist and went to Alabama A&M University.
So back in the South.
Back in the South, yeah. And then Alabama A&M University to Winthrop University, so still
Okay.
kind of south there in South Carolina. From Winthrop University to the University of Miami, and then from the University of Miami to Fort Valley State University, and then Fort Valley State to where I am currently. So I've worked at 10 different
Wow.
10 different institutions. and
And
that
all different
was
caliber. That's amazing.
all
Okay.
different. Yep.
When did you officially did you ever become the AD, or you did? So did you get that when you went to
Fort Valley. So I was just the athletic
okay.
at Fort Valley State. Yep. I had been an interim before.
Okay.
I was an interim AD at Southwest Baptist University for a year. And then, of
Wow.
course, the full-time athletic director at Fort Valley.
Okay, so you finally became the athletic director after working at all the institutions, and then eventually you were like, okay, I'm jumping in to doing business for myself. I still have so many questions because you've been everywhere around. You're a world traveler at this point.
Yeah. Yes. I love to try.
Yes. Okay. When did you say, okay, I'm going to start the business that you started now?
So while I was at Fort Valley, so first of all, in 2013, I was doing some side hustles
Mhm.
anyway, consulting with people. Here I would do something great. Okay, starting an athletic business office from scratch. How do you do that? And so a couple of departments would call me in and ask me to come, hey, you know what I'm saying, can you show us how to do X, Y, and Z? And so, charging, nothing really to come in to do it, but a little bit. And I would show them how to set it up, get all set up. You need to make sure you have these in order. So I was doing some of that even then, especially when I learned what I was doing in 2013 from a friend at another institution who helped show me. I was like, okay, great. And then I was able to start teaching other people. I was doing it on the business side. I did that same thing on the academic side because I was known for being able to um, help people with the APR. So your football team is on is it has some violations or whatever APR restrictions. Call Renae, you know what I'm saying? So I was known to be able to assist and help get schools off of probations and stuff and restrictions from APR. And then I transitioned that into helping institutions understand how to build an athletic business office from scratch because that wasn't the case in a lot of mid-level, mid-major athletic departments. And so since 2013, I really kind of was doing it, but not doing it under a true business title. It was just me.
Yeah.
And while I was at Fort Valley, because I wanted to see, this is another reason why getting into the chair as an athletic director was important for me, was I had all these years of experience and I had ideas that I had written down on my, yellow legal pad from different places that I'd been, taking ideas and how I would tweak it to do this, to do that, and see if it would, work. And I just wanted the opportunity to get in my own space and try
Mhm.
my hand at it. So, because people would say, why would you leave the University of Miami? Like, really, to go to Fort Valley? And it was really because I had that yellow legal pad and I had all these ideas and I wanted to see if my stuff worked. To have what I've been
Yeah.
doing for these 24 years with other people in other places that I've been, helping other men be great at their roles as athletic director. My ideas that I would like just the opportunity to be able to implement and see if they work. And so taking the job at Fort Valley was just that. It was a blank slate. And I was able to implement several of the things that I had over the years accumulated as ideas, and they worked. It was, what I'm saying, it was great. And so I was very, very, very proud of that. But again, I knew that there was going to be some that coming from a University of Miami to a Fort Valley was kind of like a shock.
Hmm.
Wasn't used, wasn't not, I knew that the budget stuff was going to be what it was. That didn't scare me or anything like that. Um, but how we run things at that level, I wanted to take some pieces from it and implement them at that level. Not couldn't be the same, but
Right.
it could be similar. And we did, and we implemented some of those things, and like I said, it worked. And so I'm very, very proud of the work that I did as an athletic director there. But those jobs are hard. They are
Yeah.
very difficult jobs. I mean, it's a sad day today because my good friend, was just let go at FAMU. And it's like, I text her just to let her know, keep her head up, because these jobs are difficult, and it's even more difficult for women in these in
Yes. Yes. I feel like and I have another question just stemming off of going back to your entrepreneurship, but to touch on that, I feel like a lot of people don't quite understand how hard it really is for women to navigate in the space of sports in general. A lot of the women who have great success are women who are prior athletes and they just know and connect and go that route, or you have women like yourself who really have to make it out the mud and nothing was ever handed or given to them. You have to really work for it and really chew yourself to the top. And then when you get there, it's even harder because you got people vying for your spot every single day, coming at you. Like you just never feel like you gain the actual respect that you really, really deserve. But you can't worry about the respect thing. You got to worry about staying on top of everything, because if there's the moment you slip, the moment you
Yep.
have a bad day is the moment
Amen.
where they come to crumble everything that you work for. It's like a sandcastle. You work
Absolutely.
it all the way up, and in that moment you have one slip up or one bad day, here comes the wave crashing
Comes
on and
the
crashing
way.
down.
That
And it
is
feels like you got to start all over again. So
that is a great example. That is a great example. You have to start all back over again.
yeah. And it's, oh God, so it's so hard for women. And that's why I just, me being a woman, and I see all these, all the women, especially like not a woman like yourself, do so many great things. And it's so eye-opening, but it's also so motivating, because like, okay, wow, she did it. I can
Hmm.
do it too. Like
Absolutely.
I know that I can do it, because there, like you said, there's women in our space now, but it's still not as many women, that I would say that, okay, this person looks like me and they're doing exactly what I'm doing and they had to make it out the mud. Not that many. So it
Hmm.
feels great when you see somebody that's doing it or that has done it. And now you've led it, and so now you're being your own, you have your own
Right.
business and you have your own capital. So how did you come? You spoke about that already, but how you really got into it. But when did you officially become like, this is the name of it? We're
Yep.
starting. That's it.
So right as things started to crumble at Fort Valley, I was like, okay, let me get this moving, and let me just see what happens.
Mhm.
I have all of this knowledge, and I'm just really not feeling like going back into the college space, right now. And so yeah, just started it, reached out to the folks that I knew already who would probably be in need of, some of my services, and, made sure that they were, aware that, I was available, to assist. I started, working with a private equity firm who was interested in um, getting HBCUs well, they started this they were starting the sports and entertainment side of their private equity firm, and needed someone who had the connects and the consultant background with the HBCUs to, kind of come on board and do some things. And so I started working with them. We're not doing as much right now, but that was my genesis of getting, truly moving into it. And then this came along with ABIS, who needed someone that was really help us structure who we are, help us get, aligned to where we need to be, as being a 501(c)(3) nonprofit and all of that. Or do we have everything in play? Do we have all of the, if I mean, so I help them too as a consultant first.
Mhm.
And then, after that, point, the CEO asked, he was like, would you be willing to at least, work part-time with us to, continue this on in a more um employee role right now, and continue to do whatever else you're doing, but help us out. So I decided to do that with ABIS, and which will help to me my connections, help me, become more involved in the pro side of things, because again, I didn't have a real connection there, and then helps me stay connected on the college side as well.
What's your favorite part of the job that you do now?
Um, Being able to call and have Dr. J on your board and ask him questions. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm like, just to know, you have these amazing world renowned, what I'm saying, celebrities
Mhm.
that, the CEO, of course, knows them, but they're just they're on it's our board and our advisory board. And, that once a year, you'll get a chance to be in the room with, the Don Staleys, the Robin Roberts, Dr. J's, you name these great sports and celebrities. And so that's one of the great things about the job. The other great thing I love about the job is the blank slate, the ability to create. So I am just well, that's who I am. So I
Mhm.
tell people, find out your personality, your Myers-Briggs. So I know that my personality type is rare in the, what I'm saying, in the spectrum. And so like I haven't met a challenge that I don't like. And so when you tell me, well, it's going to be tough for us to get to 1,500 mark of memberships because, I don't, okay, then I got you,
Mhm.
and okay, we halfway there, saying I got to December to get to the, what I'm saying. So I mean, I like challenges. And so the other part that I really love about the job is I get to create new ideas and new things. And we got a couple of new ideas and things that we're trying to bring on board with ABIS right now. And I think you'll be hearing a lot more from that organization than you probably have in the past.
So with the work that you do now, are you doing anything else on the side? I know I like to ask sometimes because sometimes like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing this, but I'm also like a fashion content creator at the same time. Or, I'm also a hairstylist. Did you know? Like, I'm a jack of all trades. So are you doing anything else on the side that you can actually speak to?
Yeah, so I mean, other than my consulting, so the work with ABIS now, like I said, it's kind of like the job for, what I'm saying, full time.
Mhm.
And also the consulting. So for instance, the other part of the role that I play in my consulting is I help young administrators with finding a job. And and they pay me a fee once they sign off that they are employed or whatever. And after they first paycheck, what I'm saying, they give me, whatever percentage we've agreed upon. And so I see that as legacy work. Like that's helping match young administrators to their love, to their, what I'm saying, their career choice. And one of the things I always ask them before we even start working together, say, hey, are you just looking for a job or are you looking for a career?
Mhm.
And a lot of times they don't know the difference. And so we go through that piece. And then we also talk about their personality, because what I have found more than anything, and I know this is a fact because of the 10 athletic departments that I've worked at, I did this work with 6. And the majority of the coaches, I'll say at least 60% of the coaches, staff, and administrators did not know their personality type. They did not know really why they acted the way they act, or thought the way they thought, or did things the way they did things. And I found that once you put context around why you are an IN, you know what I'm saying, INTJ, and what that means into your personality, it just brought a whole lot of meaning to what they did. And then some people was like, you know what, I actually don't like this. You know what I'm doing. It's just been what I've been doing for the
Yeah.
for the longest time. I just don't know what else to do. And then you work with those folks to try to find their lane, try to help them find. I enjoy that. I enjoy that more than anything. I do that. I mean, I do that with my bonus daughter. She's trying to find, we've been working for the last 6 months to help her to actually decide what it is that she wants to do with, with her life. And now she knows. And it's just like she just on cloud nine. And you know what I'm saying? And I can't, that is just, it's very fulfilling for me when young people, or old people, I had to help some older people too determine, but help them find out what it is that you really want to do in life. And then you're doing that. Cause that's what I'm doing. You know,
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it and I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying myself. I'm loving this. I never got up and was like, oh, I don't want to go to this job. Ugh. I always got, even if I didn't like the people I was working with, I liked what I did. So I knew that I was going to always be doing that type of work. And this type of work, what I'm doing right now, I just, created a whole what we call brand new academy with 7 different pillars to work with student athletes. It's between the those who have a 2.3, I mean, yeah, 2.3 to a 2.8 GPA. Because that specific, I mean, I have it down to a science because I
Mhm.
know the potential in that group of students. So ABIS will be working, trying to implement something around the country that can be replicated in a few schools around. So that's what I get joy out of doing. So my side hustle is with my consulting, making sure that I help young people, young adults get to the place that they want to be in their life.
I think that's so amazing. Because I think figuring out where you want to be in life, but in general is it's a major aspect. And I don't think a lot of people really pay attention to it. It's like, okay, well, I'm just doing I'm just doing what I'm told to do. I'm doing what I've always done, and or I'm doing what I think I want to do, or what I got this degree in. It's like, I
Right.
think I should do that. But when you really find something and it brings you joy, I feel like at that point, like you said, you'll end up doing it for free if you have like if it came down to it because you love it so much. So I think that's a really like hitting the nail on the head is really figuring out where you are, what you want to be. Um,
Do you know your personality type?
I've done the exam. I have the results somewhere, but I feel like I probably need to do it again. I've had to do it for a job.
Yes, good.
Um, so maybe they actually have my results. I'm not sure. Maybe I can do it for myself to have it for
Yeah,
myself.
you might want to just look at it because sometimes people don't really pay it that much attention. But when you just start to read it and be like, especially if you answered it honestly,
Hmm.
answered everything honestly, then you'd be like, oh, okay. And then you can determine then kind of what type of jobs, match. I mean, if this can be a career, and then you realize like, okay, this good. I'm like, because I can sing, but I ain't trying to make it no career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be Rihanna. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love athletics. And
Yeah.
this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. I love sports. I'm going to be in this profession doing something. So yeah, so I think when you find out what it is that who you are, then you can kind of roll into where you want to be and what you love to do.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. It's been a journey of my own getting to that place. I feel like I can still, I'm a person, I feel like I always can learn and grow and develop no matter what over time. So I always like, okay, it's a definitive, sports is a definitive. That's what it is.
Good.
So I've gotten that far. Now I've gotten that far through a couple other hoops and shakes and balances.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
it. So yeah, so I love that. I'm gonna go back and definitely do my personality type again, so I can really go back and see like what is it, or I can say, well, I'm this number, these letters, because I've seen people put it on, like on profiles all the time, like they put their letters in there, and I'm like, at some point I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, it's your personality type, okay. And some people are very proud of it. They'll just let like, this is my personality. You either take it or leave it.
Leave
It's like,
it.
okay, okay. Okay, but we ain't gonna know all of them, so we got to really
Right.
copy and
Right.
paste a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
You
give
got
me a whole bunch of whole bunch of letters. Okay, so I'm
you
supposed
gotta be able to work
to,
with people now. You can't just
yeah,
take it or leave it. Yeah.
just
Okay. Gotta be able
toss you to the side. Okay.
to right.
I am so intrigued. Okay, we talked about your venture and your journey. But you've mentioned a bonus, or you've mentioned a husband. So that means your family is theirs in the core. Through all this moving and shaking, being a woman, I know how you did it, but
Girl.
when did the husband come? How was the
Yes.
process?
Yes.
Was it hard? Was it stressful? Was it like, oh my
About this.
God?
First of all, let me just be clear. I appreciate you for making certain that that is a part of the discussion, specifically for us as women. Um, it is definitely difficult for women, for ambitious women in this sports arena to find mates and to have a mate compatible with you that understands what the goal is. Like, you got to come in to this thing understanding the assignment, or you're not going to be here long.
Right.
Now that's just the real that's
That's
just
the reality of it. That's the reality.
they love, and I'm gonna tell you, I mean, because I dated and all that stuff. They love that you know about all the sports and all of the, that want to watch
Mhm.
sports, that you ain't that, that chick that they ain't trying to watch the game on Sundays and stuff like that. That you can understand it, that you can roll with them like, no, that ain't no, no. That ain't no, they ain't throwing the flag, you know what I'm saying? It was a defensive hole, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I mean,
Mhm.
they like it that you're able to do that with them until it's time to go into the workforce or get closer in y'all relationship. Now it's like there's a reality that sets in that, am I gonna be on the back burner?
Yeah.
That piece in a man. And I don't blame them, I don't blame men for that, simply because women have always been that way, understanding that if he's doing this and his career is going this way, I just move with him. I just go where he go. I just
Mhm.
That is not the norm for a man to do that for the woman,
A woman. Yep.
because the level of ambition is normally not there in women the same way it is in men. And so that expectation for them to do that is not there. So I appreciate you bringing this forward, because there are those of us who waited longer in our lives to have that mate, that person that understood where we were, to get all the things that we wanted to do pretty much out. So I say, I'm like, nope. I'm going to try to I'm trying. I'll get married when I'm an AD.
Mhm.
That's literally, and the reason why I had said that is because I was like, because I ain't trying to have nobody hindering me from doing nothing that I want to do.
Mhm.
I want to move when I want to move. I want to go when I want to go. And so I made that decision. That's not saying that that is the right thing for everybody, but each person has to make this decision for them. That's right for them. That's why I keep saying that's right for you.
Mhm.
So it could be that you have that mate, that person that understood, you know what I'm saying, that understands it. And okay, great. They're a school teacher. Boom, boom, you can teach school in all 50 states. Let's
Yeah,
get
amen.
what we doing. But me, as in the sports person, I gotta go where the opportunities take me. Because I have this level of ambition. Now, don't get me wrong, you might have to make some decisions for family reasons or what have you. But I knew for me that I wanted to be just me and move all of there's no way that I would have been able to move all those places before, if I had husband, kids and all that kind of stuff. That wouldn't have been my story. So you would have been hearing a whole different different story
Yeah.
today than that. But I'm blessed because my first conversation with men that I was dating, when I was like, listen, I'm going to be an athletic director. That is do you understand what that means? You're going to be the second gentleman. So you need to understand what that looks like.
Right.
And so I would explain that early on, so they understood that that means that you're going to be a second fiddle. If I'm at athletic director, I'm out front. I'm outgoing. I got late nights. I ain't cooking no food, dinner. All that, you know what I'm saying? That is what our life looks like. And I was very candid up front because I didn't want no issues. So it was never well, you didn't tell me this what you wanted to do. No, boo, I did. You might not have listened, or you didn't think I could.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That might have been the issue. But when I did meet my husband, had the same conversation. He was very supportive and understanding. And literally, we got married in September and we moved to Miami in October.
Wow. Okay.
And that is literally, I mean, because you dated me up to this point. You listen, this what we doing. I was like, hey, I might be interviewing. I don't know. I started interviewing, got the job. I'm gonna go get married. Then we moved to Miami. He had been to Charlotte for 20 some years, uprooting his life to move to Miami. Now he was able to go back and forth because his business was here in the Charlotte area. But yeah, it worked. So you just have to know that that person has to know that this is her goal. This is what she wants to do, and be
Mhm.
okay with that, and support that. Same thing when we left Miami, went to Georgia. He does 2 weeks in Georgia, 2 weeks in Charlotte, 2 weeks in Georgia, 2 weeks in Charlotte. He's at the games. If I need him to do something at the office, on game day or something, he gets it done. Hey, go tell the DJ stop playing, it's too loud. Or whatever the case is. So there is a team effort there, as well. But I tell you, that is not the norm. That is not the norm. So definitely, in choosing, my advice when I talk to young administrators who are, they're dating females who are ambitious and want to get to that high level, I just tell them, I said, just vet properly the person that you're dating. I said, and give them the worst case scenario up front.
Mhm.
So they
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
and see if they stay.
Yeah. It's definitely giving the worst up front, but like as you said, like you got to understand the assignment. Because if you don't understand the assignment, then there is no assignment. And that's just the beast of it. That's just the beast of what it is. And you said something that I felt was really important, that even though you didn't say it, but it's really like an underlying of it, is that your husband, or I'm saying your partner, is proud of you enough to want to support you, to want to help you grow in your ambitions, to understand like, okay, this is what she's trying to do. And she, this is what she's doing. This is where she's trying to go and how we're going to get there. So if that means moving to Miami for her to get there, then we're moving to Miami for her to get there. If that means moving to Fort Valley to get for her to get there, then we moving to Fort Valley for her to get there. Because at the end of the day, that's what she wants to do. And I love her and support her. And I'm so proud of her enough to know that I'm supporting her and I'm behind her 10 toes down every step of the way.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was that underlying that hit the nail on the head for me. When you said it, it was like, this man was not only supportive of her, but he obviously was proud of her in the whole aspect of like, and it wasn't like a, she's going to outshine me type of energy. It was more like, I'm secure within myself and what I'm doing, so much so that I can let her be in the forefront and do whatever she needs to do, because I know who I am. I'm securing myself as a man, as a person, and as her partner, to know this is what it's going to be and this is where we're going to go moving forward. So I feel that whole thing was just really like nail on the head. So important.
That part right there got to be there. It has to be there, or you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Your journey is going to be just miserable, because it's going to be a battle because you're going to want to rise. And why you got to go over there? Why you got to do all that? I ain't got time to answer all them doggone questions.
Right.
Too many, 50, yeah, I got, you know what I'm saying, 49 questions, but you ain't one. I don't have so you need to, you know what I'm saying, chill out. And so whenever things got, like that, why are you traveling? I remember this guy I was dating, he said, well, why you got to travel with the team? Because it's part of my job. And while we're on the road, we do different exercises, maybe, with testing, we do some, life skill stuff. I help, kids learn how to, at that time, they were still writing checks. So you learn how to, write a check and all these kind of basic life skill type things. I said, so we do that on the road. Why? Because they don't always have time. He was like, somebody else can do that. No. Somebody can't do that, because that's my job. So that's why. Well, when we gonna have our time, when I get back, that's
right.
So you know what I'm saying. So again, you have to know and vet that person early enough. So again, that's why I said I just waited. For me personally, I waited until I was almost there. So my husband and I have been married for 5 years in October. So it was Miami. So he's been with me for two jobs, Miami and Fort Valley. And so like I said, I was almost there. It's before before I got it. I always had said, I was like, nope, not getting married till I become an athletic director. So I did it a little bit before, but it was not too much, saying.
It was the right fit. It was the right fit.
Yep. And he understood the assignment. So
yes, understanding the assignment. I love supportive men. You gotta love them. You gotta love them, because there's not too many out there. You be surprised.
that is true. No, I'm not surprised.
You are right. You're correct.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. I mean, I know I've kept you long.
I know when you got the editing and all that kind of stuff, you can, you edit what you need to edit out and all that.
No, I'm keeping everything. This interview has been amazing to me. I want to ask you, is there anything that I did not touch on for you that maybe you want to touch on or that you want to talk about? Because I felt like we went through a long journey. I may have to have you on again to really dive deep into some other questions to really get an understanding for, like, let's have an episode about, personality testing and things like. There's so many things that we could grasp and I can get from you. That I feel like I just cannot have just in one whole episode. You're gonna have to come back and talk to me.
Hey, whenever I am open, whatever you need. Again, your audience, so you can say, I think my audience wants to hear about this. So yeah, whatever you need. The only thing I would say is, the heaviness, that I feel on this day for my colleague and sister friend, from FAMU, and just understanding the dynamics that go on within these jobs, specifically for us as women, because once you get to that level, um, the people that are surrounding you are just not always happy that it was you,
Yeah.
and so you're trying to do the best job that you can do because you've been doing it, all along and helping others be great. And now you get an opportunity to do the same. And so I for her staff, um, and coaches, student athletes who, are feeling that same way today, that heaviness. Um, I know the departure can be, tough because I went through it. The student athletes, the coaches, and everybody was like, like, Doc, y'all couldn't work it out. No.
Mhm. No, that was it.
Yeah,
My slate is now
yeah, I was just
full.
like, yeah. I mean, I was like, I am Frank Sinatraing it this today. I'm doing it my way, and this is what we're doing. And so for her, I just know I was like, hey, this unexpected and everything. And so just for your audience to know that we ain't going nowhere.
Right.
What I'm saying? I was like, we like baby's kids.
Hmm. We're here to stay. We're here to stay.
Yeah, we gonna stay. We don't die, we multiply. And so we about to put out even more women who are ready, and even more women who are ready to sit in that chair and go up the ladder. So we're not going away. And I just want to, just echo the the love that, hey, women can lead. We're some of the best leaders. I hope that even in this moment when Kamala, with what's happening with Kamala Harris, yes, I hope she wins. That will even, cement us more that women can lead, and we deserve the opportunity to showcase that with just as with what I'm saying, unhold bar, just like men. um and let us do that with all the grace and love that they give to others. So that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I do want to end with having you give 3 keywords of advice of how someone could win at the game of life.
Yeah, so number one, I would say know who you are. I'm a stickler. I hope you've heard that through this. So I'm a
Mhm.
stickler in truly knowing who you are. Number two, making sure that others know who you are. And you don't have to broadcast it, just be normal. Let's be, authentic in that. So know who you are, be authentic, and expressing to, to others who you are, and don't let anybody keep you back down from doing what you want to do. Nobody. Parents, friends, significant others. If it's in your heart to do it, go do it. So those are the 3 things I would say.
3 great things at that. Definitely can take those and hold on to it. So again, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to a future show so you can
Yeah.
really dive into some other great things. I really do appreciate your time. And I'm going to sign off now, but I'm so grateful for everything that you have done. And I really, really, really want you just to know like how appreciative I am that you came on to this podcast and to this space to really have this conversation today.
No, I appreciate you, Des, and wishing you all the best in all of your future endeavors and everything that you're planning to do with the Pretty Playbook Podcast.
Thank you.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl.